All right, so I'm gonna do a quick challenge here. And what we basically want to do is move the remaining loaders to our other components. So right now our shop component is using the loader, which is basically just getting the products and, mapping over them. And that's why when we click on shop, the component loads up, or the data loads up first and then the component. But when we click on, let's say, a product, you see we get that little loading I guess screen, and that's because inside of our product detail we're still using a use effect. So first things first, we can go ahead and we can import our get products. So let's hold on, is that the name of the loader? I think it is. Yep, so we can import get products first. And it looks like I already did that. Import get products. So now we can go down here and we can export a loader. So let me see if I put that inside, outside. So we can export loader, or we can say export function. It's going to be a loader. And then inside of that function, we can return get products, and that's going to give us our products. And basically, actually, I think this might work a little bit different. I'm just going to keep going though. So if we go down here, what we see is that we're still, let's see, getting our products inside of the use loader data. So the use loader data hook, and I think I may have to import that as well. Let me see, use loader data. Yeah, I'll have to import that hook as well. So use loader data. And what that use loader data hook is going to allow us to do is it's basically going to allow us to take what we exported from that loader and put it inside of a, I guess, variable. So if we go down here and then we say const product detail, and is that how we went ahead and went about this? Let's go ahead and comment this out. Filtered message. This is just an old way of me doing something. Oh, is that how I think I kept it that way. Let's see. Let me see if it just allows me to keep it if I use that. Okay, no, I just didn't. So let's just equal this to use loader data for now. And we can console.log what we get from product detail real quick. And let's refresh. And it says we're getting undefined. So that's weird. Return get loader data and then use loader data. That is weird. Let's see here. I'm gonna copy this over real quick. And that is even weirder. Okay. And I'm gonna put this down here. And I'm gonna console.log my products. And I'm still getting undefined, which is really weird. And let me, I'll just take this one step at a time. So my location is just giving me my use location, which is giving me, I forgot honestly what use location is doing. I'll have to go back, and I'm guessing what use location is giving me is, oh, I think this is for the search parameters. So if we go back, go in, click on something, my use location should give me my parameter inside of this state right here. Yep, my type of wearables, and when we go back, it'll keep that state. So that's doing that. Kind of forgot there for a second. But what's really weird is that this isn't, getting what I expected it to get. And maybe it's because we haven't put this loader in through here. So let's go ahead and in our product detail, let's take our loader as, and then product detail loader. And now if we go down to, as we see in our shop, we can do almost the same thing. So we can say our loader is going to equal to our product details loader. And if we do that, we should be cruising along. And then now let's console.log what we're getting for products. And good. So we're getting our actual array of objects. And I guess it's because we didn't set the loader here. So once we set that it does have a loader and it's called the product detail loader, and we export it, the loader, as product detail loader, I guess React now knows that this loader is going to be the loader that we get to access when we use loader data. So let me say product detail, and then now we get our array of 9 products. So let's see here, what can we do now? So I guess what we're doing here is that we're saying grab our asynchronous code, make a fetch using our params ID. So what we're going to have to do is going to be similar to that. So instead of making a fetch request in using a use effect, what we can do is say products, or yeah, product detail. And then we're going to use a map method. And I'm going to say each one is a separate product. And we're just going to console log products just to make sure we're getting our products. And as you see, we are mapping over all of our products. And also I want to go ahead and console.log our params, the ID. So if we console.log our params ID, and then let's stop console logging this, or let's just remove that for now. I could have just commented that. So let's go ahead and refresh, because remember, we're getting our params. So our parameter is 2, which is coming from the ID of the actual object. And the way we did that was by using the use params hook. And I'm not gonna, go over it too much here in detail. What I'm basically thinking is happening here is when we click on the product, the use params is actually giving us our, let's see, console.log params. It's giving us this this object with an ID of 2, and the way we set that up in the past was, let me go back and make sure I know what I'm talking about right now, is when we went ahead and we, let's see, because when we click on a product, we should go to it. So skincare wearables, and then we have our mapped products, and then our mapped products is going to our product. Let's go to our product real quick. I want to make sure I actually understand the code base. Where's our product? Our product is here. So inside of our product, we're going to, and then this is the path we're going to go to. And the ID of the product is the ID that we're getting from this shop component here, which is getting from the product ID, which we're getting from the displayed products, which is our products, in which we're getting from the use loader data. And the use loader data is coming from, let's see, is coming from this loader, which is basically getting called from this API. And then the API is coming from api.js, and it's basically giving us our array of all, I think, 9 products that we have in there so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 9 products. And basically these 9 products are just being displayed. So the way that we're getting our params ID, just to reiterate that, and the reason why it's 2 is because if we go to product here, we see that we're going to go to the link of 2, and then we also see we have state, that's for our parameter ID. Let's see, I'm actually wondering now how I'm getting the param. Okay, let's see here. So we go to this. So I guess through this to method, once we go to this path right here, and since it's in the URL here, I guess this number 2 right here is accessible through our use params, and because we can use it through our use params, it gives us an object. So it gives us an object and then the ID of 2. And I'm guessing that's here because that's how we are getting the ID. So the ID we're getting from ID, and I guess it turns it into an object. So that's how we're getting our params there. I just wanted to make sure that I actually understood it. So basically now with this 2, we can do something else. So let's just say our product detail dot map, and then our product. And then what I want to say is if our product.id is equals to our params.id, then if that's true, then we want to go ahead and return, let me make sure I'm doing this right. We want to conditionally return our product. Let's see, let's return, hold on. I'm gonna pause real quick just so that I can reference something else because I've done this multiple times. Okay, so I was able to figure it out. So once we map over our product and the product ID is equals to the parameter ID, so the product of 2 and then our param ID of 2, we want to return that product. And I went ahead and console logged it. What I was confused about before I paused was if it was just going to return all 9 products again, or if it was just going to return the one we needed. And it turns out it just returns the one we needed, because all of the products that don't have an ID that's equals to the param ID, which is 2, will just not get rendered out with null. So now that we have our one product, let's continue. So we can go ahead and remove this, and we can go ahead and clear this as well. And I'm not sure how Bob will do it, but that's just how I went ahead and did it. And now what we get to see is that we see that we are referencing it with product. So we're saying if product is product.image URL, product.name, etc., etc. And that's what we are doing in our use effect right here. We are putting everything as set product. So instead of just returning product, we can go ahead and say set product. And I want to break my code real quick, first and foremost. So I want to just, first of all, actually do that. And then first I want to break my code, and I want to check something real quick. Okay. So I want to break my code first, and then we're stuck in the loading state. Notice how when we're not using loaders, it would just say loading forever. So the user won't know if something's broken or if something just isn't loading up properly. But when we go ahead and we say product and we set our product to the product, now everything, okay, we're getting a weird error here. So too many re-renders. I guess we would still have to put this in a react.useEffect. That's weird. I didn't think we'd have to do that. So let's put everything in a use effect, and let's use params.id, and then we can just set our product to product. And that's still a lot saved on code. And then now we're using our loaders. So now we don't get any kind of loading state. So meaning we wouldn't even have to use this anymore. I'm going to leave this, even though my code is very not the most readable code ever. I just want to kind of see how I was doing things in the past, and I'm not sure that Bob will do this the same way I did it. So I just want to keep my way of doing it, even if it's not the best way, just so I have a reference when I'm jumping in a new project of how not to do it, just in case I have the bad habit of going back to how I used to do it. So I just want to give a little overview. So we're basically removing all of this code, and instead of using the react.use effect to first fetch the data and then wait for the response and then set the product to the data.projects, we are just basically taking the product detail and we're mapping over it, and the product detail is just the use loader data. And then when we go up here, the way we get the use loader data is by our loader, and then this is by getting our products, which is this API call, meaning we don't have to refetch in that component. And then the way we made it work was by importing the loader from product loader, and then we put the loader on the actual route itself. So now that route is using the correct loader, meaning that our product will load up when we click on something, instead of having a loading state and then having an error state. Loaders will handle all of that for us, which is awesome. So now going back to our product detail, what I'm basically saying is that we're going to take our product detail, which we know is our 9 items from our fetch request. And then we're going to say if the product ID is equals to the parameters ID, the parameter ID we're getting from the URL up here of 3, then if that's true, we're going to do a react.use effect, take the product with the ID being equals to the parameter ID and put that inside of the set product. And then we'll do our array or our dependencies array to make sure that when the parameter ID changes, that this will also change. And then otherwise we're going to return null. So all of those other objects we're not going to need. So now what we can basically do, what we're basically doing down here is we're taking our product and we're saying if our product is true, run this, and then if it's not, run loading. That's not necessarily needed anymore, just because we're not depending on our loading states anymore. So basically we're just setting everything the same way we did it through state, just saying product dot product dot product dot, and then everything works exactly how we would expect it to. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this challenge. Long challenge just because I was like really confused about what the older code meant, and that's why I had to re-explain it to make sure that I actually knew what was going on in the code base. But that's pretty much it.